Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends. Welcome to another amazing episode of Zero Point Healing Show. This is episode number 43. And in this show, I have amazing guest with me. And the topic for today is how to heal any childhood trauma using the completion process. This is the first time we are discussing about completion process in this show. So I'm really excited for that. And the process itself is amazing. It's like a 1 hour, 2 hour session that helps you release childhood trauma, and I'll let the guests speak about it. And it's an amazing modality. So before I move on to my guest, just a short intro about me. I'm Vishnupriya. I'm a healer myself, certified in multiple different modalities, and Zero Point Healing.com, which is a web directory. I have created this platform for healers and therapists and facilitators of all different modalities, and it serves as a platform where anyone can come in and search the right modality, the right healer that would help them for the specific issue that they are facing in their life at different times in their lives. So that's why I have put together this platform. And in my own journey, I journeyed through different modalities and different issues that I personally had in my life. And my searching was through Google and through YouTube and all of that, which is such a broad place for us to search for healers. And that's where this passion, this interest came from, how nice it would be to have one platform with all the healers and all healing modalities, so that at any time in our lives, we can come back, we can see at this time I have this kind of issue in my life, who can help me? So that's what Zero Point Healing is all about. So if you are a healer, therapist, or facilitator yourself of any healing modality, I invite you to zeropointhealing.com. You can register for free. And you can also, if you're interested in doing this kind of interview with me, contact me for that as well. All right, so I'm now moving on to my guest here. Welcome, Karolina. Thank you so much for being with me today. I know you're excited. So
yes, very. Hello.
Yes. Please tell us about yourself and all your journey. I see you have been certified in the completion process, the Psyche, and NLP and Reiki energy, so many different modalities you have in your toolbox. So tell us what led you into this whole healing journey.
Oh, it started around 5 years ago when I had my first spiritual awakening. And then I realized, oh my God, I can actually live the life of my dreams, doing these processes, these healing methods on myself and working with my subconscious mind and just reprogramming all these things that were holding me back from, being relaxed in my life, being happy in my life, being unconditionally joyful and loving, in all areas of my life, really. So I was just really curious about all these healing methods, and I've tried, energy healing, and I've tried, fasting when I could feel this energy going in my body, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so when I started, I just couldn't stop, and I'm still exploring and learning more, and healing myself and healing others, and it's just such a huge passion for me, because there is so much I still don't know, and there's, so far I already know a few things, and I'm just excited to, just broaden my perspective even more, because there are so many amazing methods that I could use. And yeah, I've been really into Teal Swan's teachings, who is a creator of completion process, and I've been listening to her videos for the last few years, and she's sometimes mentioning the completion process in her video, because she created this process after being abused and tortured in her life. So she really knows what has to happen for you to really resolve all these deep childhood traumas, because she's been tortured and sexually abused, and she's been like a part of satanic cult, and it was really intense for her. So that's why I started listening to her, and then I had this really amazing manifestation when last year at the beginning of 2019, I was just setting an intention that I really want to become a completion process certified practitioner. And then I completely forgot about this intention. And then I wanted to go to Costa Rica. And when I bought the flight tickets to Costa Rica, I saw on Teal's website that there is a completion process training going on in Costa Rica. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the universe aligning me to do this work. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And so I applied, because not everyone is, getting there. They have limited amount of people. And I applied and I was just so excited. And after they accepted me, I actually found my notebook with the intentions for 2019. And I was like, I can't believe it. It was my intention and I forgot about it. And then I had a chance to, have a 10-day retreat with her when we learned, how to go through this process. And it was just so exciting to see other people's transformations as well in the real time. And they even took us a picture like before and after, so we can see in our face how all these emotions that are released are changing our looks. And it was just so exciting. So yeah, when it comes to completion process, that's how I got there. It was just the universe magically aligning me with this work. And I'm really grateful for that.
Wow, what a fantastic story. That's so amazing. So tell us now about the completion process. You have mentioned everything about, how energetic it was for you. So tell us what the completion process is all about and how it is helping, people release their childhood trauma.
Okay, so completion process is a merge of inner child work and shadow work. Inner child work, of course, when we are dealing with the part of us that is still a child, and shadow work is because we are dealing with subconscious things that we don't see. It's our shadow that we got to shine the light of our consciousness to see what is there. So how the completion process session works is we are feeling into the emotion that is causing us discomfort, or that is causing us a problem. And then because we are feeling into it so deeply, our subconscious is able to show us, the first memory that it has ever happened to us. And once we resolve this first memory, it's like a domino effect. All the same emotions felt throughout our life so far are going to be automatically resolved. So we're coming back to this very first memory. I'm guiding you through that. And so people are like, oh, so I don't remember these things. But they don't have to remember, because it's a subconscious level. Our subconscious remembers everything. And if you didn't remember, this emotion wouldn't be there. If this is something you wouldn't remember. So the subconscious takes us to this very first memory when this emotion happens, and then we are releasing it as a child, being there, really experiencing it, letting it all out that was suppressed in our body and not expressed. So we are really taking these emotions out of our body. And I'm holding the space and making sure that you feel safe and good in this process. And then whenever you're ready and you feel relief, and sometimes this can take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how many emotions there are, we are ready to step into this memory as the adult and really come to this child and really give it all the love, all the support, and all the understanding that it just didn't have at that point. And meeting all the needs, if it needs some toys, if it needs some, parents coming, or even guardian angel, anything that is there to just make this child feel relief and feel good in the memory. And after we finish this, we are asking if there are any other fragments in this memory, because sometimes when you have a trauma, we can have different feelings. So when mom shouts at me, for example, and I'm a little kid, one part of me can be afraid, one part of me can be angry, one part of me just wants to play dolls and not feel anything and just wants to escape. So we are gathering all these other parts that feel different emotions and meeting their needs as well. And so that really gives us an opportunity to close this trauma, because if all the needs are met of all these different parts, it's just, we don't have to come back to it ever again, because it's all going to be resolved. And we are merging all these parts into one child. And then we're taking this child out of this memory so that we can, to the safe space, so that we can deactivate the memory. Because if we stay in there, sometimes the child chooses to stay, and that's okay. But if we can get out of there and go to the safe space, we can just make this memory disappear completely, so that it has no influence on our life anymore. And when we are creating the safe space, the safe haven, where the child just feels so free and so amazing, and it's for everyone, it's different things. Sometimes it's a different space, it's on earth or a different dimension, or even in a bubble or a flower or whatever it is. And the child feels really good, they're really safe. And we can, after we deactivate the memory, we can cleanse the child in healing water that will purify everything that is left over from the memory. So that it's almost like a baptism, like you're cleansing out, so that you can start fresh, new life without this memory, and you can really just close it behind you. And when the child is ready, you can meet all the needs in this space as well. If it needs, toys or animals or family members, whoever, whatever the child needs there. And when the child is ready, we can ask if the child wants to merge with us to our adult perspective, so that we can retrieve this part of us, this part of our soul that was stuck in the trauma, back to ourselves. That's why completion process is called the practice of putting yourself back together again. Like you take this puzzle piece back to you. And if the child still needs to meet some needs, we can easily just leave the child over there and just tell the child, look, I'm happy to merge with you whenever you're ready, and come to me, to my adult life, whenever you feel like you meet all the needs. And that's also okay. It always depends on the process, how it works. But whenever the child merges or chooses to stay, we just going out of this space and coming back to our body, grounding ourselves in here and now, in our conscious perspective, and opening our eyes. So this whole process is a mental process. We are having our eyes closed, and sometimes I can do it even on the phone, because it's really like something that you're just getting into, more like feeling and vision based. So yeah, and then you're coming back, and usually you just feel amazing and you feel complete, and you feel excited for tomorrow.
That is so beautiful. So let's see, I'm just going to put it in my perspective. So from what I have understood, so the whole session, so did you say how much, usually how long does it take for this one session?
It is very different for everyone, because it always depends on how many emotions are there in the trauma and how much of a release you need. Because sometimes someone is going to cry out for 5 minutes and that's done. But some people have fear, and then they have rage, and then they have powerlessness, and then they have this and this and this and this. So sometimes the session can last for 2 hours, sometimes for 70, 80 minutes. I even heard of the sessions that were like for 5 hours long, but these are extreme cases. But it can happen in like very, very traumatic events. But on average, it is around, the whole process would take, with the session introduction and talk, and maybe around 1.5 hours. So I usually book 1.5 hours and a little bit more after the session, just in case, for someone to, to have a little more time to integrate or to talk about it. Because yeah, sometimes people can come back to really intense events that sometimes they didn't even know about. So it's really important to give this time also to just settle back in and to talk it through if something, just big was happening.
That's nice. So are you doing the sessions online as well, or is it just in person?
Yes,
online?
Mostly online. Okay. I like to do sessions in person, but the effectiveness is just as, powerful as it is done in person. Because anyway, I'm a guide and I'm just holding space and energetically embracing someone, whereas you are the one going through the process. I'm just there to support, to facilitate, and to walk you through it. But you are your own healer in this process, really.
Yes, that's beautiful. So tell us about, what are the different types of issues that people are coming to you for, and what are the types of problems that the completion process can help curing?
Oh, so completion process works on all kinds of emotions and traumas and even physical issues. So I have a lot of clients coming to me with various issues like anxiety, depression, PTSD, insomnia, just stress in life, or anger, powerlessness, hopelessness, sadness, all kinds of just purely emotional issues. But also I have had clients who came to me with autoimmune diseases or sexually transmitted diseases. And really what you discover is that even if the disease or illness seems physical, there's always an emotional issue that is beneath this problem that you can resolve. And how it works is that you are feeling into how you feel thinking of this physical issue that you have. And always when you feel into how you feel, this is the emotion linked to the physical issue that you have. So even physical issues can be resolved with that. And I strongly believe that all physical issues are a reflection of our emotions and our energy that we hold within. So I really have all kinds of issues and variety of clients working on many different things on our sessions.
That is nice. So now let's say maybe I have anxiety and I'm coming to you as a client. So when I come to you, so the process begins where I start feeling into me. It's a meditative process, right? I'll be closing my eyes and I'll be in this kind of meditative state. And then you will lead me to start feeling this emotion of anxiety. and tell us a little bit about how are you taking us into that emotion and then relating it to the childhood event.
Mm-hmm. So just to clarify, if you've already had the process before, then this is going to be the first step. But if it's your first time, then the safe space is created at first, so that you know and you have awareness that you always can go to the safe space if you feel a little unsafe, so that you have this like grounding perspective. Okay, this is my safe space. Now I'm safe. Now I can go deep into something that is really uncomfortable. So if it's a first session, we are creating the space that you feel safe in, so that you really can be grounded in this. And then you're moving into this emotional vipassana. That's how Teal Swan calls it, because you really want to be present with the emotion. So it's uncomfortable for people, because we got to feel into this anxiety, we got to really feel this emotion. So I'm guiding in whichever way it comes, to really feel into the body and feel how this anxiety feels and looks, and how when you touch it, how it feels, and if it's cold or warm, or what's the texture, and so that you really get familiar with this feeling, and you let this feeling take you over. Because usually what's happening is that we are escaping from negative feelings, and we are leaving this part of us that is experiencing something negative behind. And what heals really is to be present with these emotions and to release them all. So we are really trying to give this, or not trying, we are actually doing, we are giving this feeling a message that we are fully unconditionally present with this feeling, and we are willing to feel it, in the opposite of what we normally do, is just like escaping from the feeling. So when we are diving deeper and deeper and deeper, and I'm guiding you through the process to really be taken over by that, in this moment when you are on the peak of the emotion, your subconscious can easily detect what was the first time that caused you to feel like that. And then we are asking the subconscious, when was the very first time that I felt this feeling? And then it usually instantly gets you back. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time for some people, but usually it's just like, you have a sensation, you have a vision, or sometimes even a smell, because we code the memories as kids in many different ways. And sometimes even a smell can guide us to what it was that happened. And sometimes we don't even know, we don't even remember, because when we are in the womb, for example, we don't see anything. We just know that it's dark and it's warm, and I feel some kind of discomfort, some kind of emotion. So sometimes you don't even see anything. You can just sense what's happening. So, and then you finish up there as the little kid, in the womb, or in childhoods. Usually these emotions are coded until the age of 10, when we are still working on an emotional level, because then our intellect is not working yet. So we cannot just explain to ourselves, oh, daddy shouted at us because we didn't clean up the room. We can't really explain that to ourselves. So we're just taking everything as a sponge, and we are just purely emotional beings. So usually this memory is going to be between -3 months, when you're still in the womb, to around 10 years old. And so that's how you get to the memory.
That is wonderful experience there to get to that. And once we are there, then you will start the healing process. Maybe the emotions wants to come up. I might be crying. I might be releasing the emotions.
Shouting. Really
Yes.
crazy things. Sometimes you need to get up and just like move your whole body. Sometimes it is really intense, but this is exactly what heals us.
Yes. And of course, experiencing those emotions and allowing it to go, letting it go, is where the healing takes place. So that process takes place. And then towards the end, as you said, you are cleaning and cleansing in the healing waters, and then you are coming back maybe to the safe space, and then integrating and merging with the inner child if the child is ready. If not, we let it be there, and then at a later time, whenever the child is ready, we can merge with the child. So that's the whole process. Is that right?
Yes, and we really want to make sure that it's called the completion process, because when you step into the process, you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, because it's like all these emotions are present within you, but we really make sure that it is complete. So at the end of this process, you're getting out of this process feeling peaceful, or feeling happy or excited, but at least peaceful. Just nothing is bothering you anymore. And that's amazing, because you let it all out, and you get to meet these needs that, because unmet, it made you feel discomfort. But now that they are met and the child is in peace, you also can be like, okay, now I know this child is either within me or in the place that is just feeling amazing or feeling peaceful and playing with friends or toys or animals, and it's just all great. So yeah, it's really important to get to this point where you really feel like it is all solved, it is all done, and now I'm at peace.
It's so beautiful. So, my dear viewers, usually what we do towards the end of the show for the last 10 minutes, we usually do a type of a demo healing. But with completion process, as you have heard us explain about it, it's like a hour or 2 hour long process. And we had a discussion before the show started, how can we do it? But if we do it, then it might be that you will be stuck in the emotions and not fully completed. And therefore, we cannot just do it for 10 minutes. Instead, what I'm going to ask Karolina to do is maybe share with us some client stories of what kind of issue the client came to you for and what happened during the session. And then after the session, how was the client, how did the life change for the client, the results basically.
Sure. So one of the really interesting stories that happened to me during the last week was when the lady came to me and she was like, I have this sexually transmitted disease and I don't actually know like what's happening, and maybe it's not even emotional, maybe we can't even do that. And I'm like, no, all the physical diseases are, have the basis of emotional trauma. So I guided her to feel how she feels about this disease. And some people might say, no, it's sexually transmitted. Of course, it was because, like physical issues. But we got to the understanding that she feels like a victim. She feels like she didn't deserve this. And so then when we jumped into this emotion and into this feeling, we came back to the memory. And at first in the memory, she was like, no, it can't be. It's not the memory that caused me that, because she was there as a little kid, 5-year-old, trying to put some glass balls on Christmas tree and just decorate the Christmas tree in a good way. And her mom stepped in and started shouting at her that it's not done in a good way, that bigger balls should be down and the smaller balls should be up, and that it's all wrong. And she felt like she just wanted to decorate the Christmas tree and she didn't deserve it. And only then she was like, oh my God, wow, this is exactly the same feeling. But at the beginning, she was like, come on, I'm just, there's just a Christmas tree, like it's not related. But then she was like, wow, this is actually the same issue that I felt towards this. So, and also because, it was about, relationship with mother and like stability and balance. It's all about root chakra, and also femininity, because it's like a second chakra, feminine energy. It's also linked to like sexual organs. So both of these chakras were actually influenced, and it made so much sense that these emotions were stored there, and it just caused this disease, or caused her to attract this disease to her life and to her body. Because we are, through the law of attraction, we are attracting what we have inside of us. So if we have some stuck emotions, it's just attracting things to our life that are reflecting what these emotions are. And so I really, really liked this process, because I just really liked how surprised she was that, oh my God, you were right, that's what I'm feeling. So that was one of the really, really cool experiences for me as a healer. And also another one that I really liked was one of the friends of mine who was really skeptical. He's not really into like healing and like spirituality, like it's too woo-woo for him. But he has this autoimmune disease in his foot that he couldn't really walk, and he was still on some kind of meds. And without the meds, he couldn't even like step on his foot and everything like that. I'm like, okay, let's do the completion process on that, because they know that autoimmune diseases are usually caused by some kind of self-hate. So something towards yourself that you really condemn about yourself, or you just don't feel good enough with yourself. And we came back to this memory where he actually stepped on some kind of nail that went through his foot, exactly where the emotion and the disease was stored. And he felt really embarrassed by that, because he was on some kind of family party where he didn't want to disturb this party, but then everyone put their attention on him, and he felt really embarrassed. And so it was the emotion kind of towards himself that he felt. And it made so much sense, because autoimmune disease, of course, and it was stored in the foot where he stepped on the nail. And so that was also for him like, wow, I didn't believe in all this kind of healing stuff and whatever, but I've actually experienced it, and now I can see how that is all related. And since then, he doesn't feel pain, because when he was taking medicaments, he still would feel pain while he would walk. And now he is not super like, keen to just, put off the meds. But he said, since then, no pain. even on meds. And before, I was still in pain, even taking pills. So it's amazing what we could do, and it's amazing that even for skeptics, we can convince them. It's just try it, just try it. If you don't want, after that, I will never tell you to do it again, but try it once, and then we will see what comes out. So these were really two amazing stories that really show us that all the kinds of physical issues can be caused by traumatic memories and emotions. And another thing that I want to mention is that oftentimes people come back to the womb, and there is so much going on in the womb. There is so much trauma in even being born. Like we are warm, and then suddenly we are cold, and we don't hear anything, and then suddenly we hear our scream, and then we are scared, and we don't know what's going on. So even for people who are like, oh, I don't have any traumas, my life was happy. I'm like, mine too, but I was born, so I know that at least from birth and normal things like that, you can have some kind of emotional imprint within you that would influence your life, because actually birth is traumatic for everyone. Like it's not possible for birth not to be traumatic, because it's such a big shift in our life and in our everything, well-being and everything. And they take us away from mom, and this is the only known energy that we experience, and it's just so much. So even for the people who are like, oh, my life is amazing, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's great, I'm happy for you. But if you maybe do at least 1 or 2 or 3 processes, then it can be even more amazing, because then you will see how much luggage you were carrying inside, and how much emotions you can actually let go of, and then be even more happy in your life, because I'm a happy person, and I'm still working on myself every day, and I'm healing myself every day, and my life is just getting more and more amazing. So I would really recommend, and that's why I'm so excited and keen to do this work, because I really believe that we can all make our life even better doing this kind of healing. So yeah, it's just so exciting.
Wow, and your excitement is really, really seen. So now a little bit about the other healing modalities you have, and if you kind of merge some of it together to get better results, or how do you have your services put out? What other services do you have?
So what I usually do the most is completion process, but also Psych-K, because this is a method that I just love for reprogramming subconscious mind and reprogramming the beliefs that are holding you back from achieving your full potential. So even if we do completion process, sometimes at the end of the session, if I still have any time left, I'll be like, okay, so what could be a belief that if we anchor this belief, it will further make you feel like you've gone through this shift, and that you are enough, or that you believe in yourself now, or that you're powerful, or that you are calm and relaxed in your life. So sometimes, if I have time, if the session goes for short time, I do a little Psych-K process at the end of the completion process session, and further anchor the belief that could get even more result. But what I usually do with most of my clients is that they just book a few sessions, the package of sessions, 4 sessions in a row, and then we can we have time to do Psych-K, we can have time to do completion process. And then after these 2 processes, they already know intuitively, like, okay, for this issue, I need completion process and maybe these beliefs. And so we can do this or that one, or they might be like, oh, I just know that there are limiting beliefs in me that, if we reprogram this, then I'm going to achieve my full potential. So I just trust the intuition of my clients and my own intuition as well, what we have to use and how we have to go. And of course, people have their own favorite healing modalities. So some people love to do completion process because they love to get awareness of what caused them to believe something, or what caused them to, feel the way they feel. And so this process is great for awareness, because you're literally in the memory, you know what's happening, you know who you're angry at, you know what made you sad, you just know everything. So and for some people who just want things to be done quickly, Psych-K is really effective and really quick. So you can reprogram in 1.5 hour session, maybe like 10 beliefs, sometimes even more. And so if people like to be like this, then I love this method, because I'm really like fast and I love to take action really fast. So for people who are action takers, they just love Psych-K so much. But I feel like most of the people just love to try both of the techniques, and sometimes they ask me also to do NLP or the emotion code or Reiki healing. even. And so it's always dependent on the client and what is what is most needed in the moment. Because, you know, we just got to trust our intuitions, and we know what is most needed. We just trust it.
Yes, and I like the way how you said to me previously about the intellectual versus emotional. So maybe if you can, and I really loved how Psyche is going to help you if you're an intellectual person. So tell us a short line about that.
Yeah, so I found that emotional people love the completion process because they love diving into their sadness, their anger, you know, everything that is going on, because it's easy for them. And for intellectual people, sometimes they struggle like, oh, how can I hold this emotion for so long? Oh, I can't quite do it, or I can't quite feel into it. And I believe that with some integrations, you know, that we can do, sometimes there is a parts conflict within them, and I sometimes do parts integration between two internal parts, one that wants to feel and one that doesn't want to feel. And I did it on myself too, because I had a part of me that was like, negative emotions, no, I'm going to focus on positives, I don't need that, you know. So I had to do integration of parts between the part of me that wanted to feel and didn't want to feel, and then I started doing completion process on myself. But it is still easier for my boyfriend, who is an emotional person, to step into it straight away and just really feel it straight away. Whereas for me, it takes time to guide myself to feel it so deeply as he can do in just a matter of seconds. So for me, as I'm like an intellectual person, I really love Psyche, because it's like I see the thing straight away. I can feel the difference straight away. We do muscle testing to prove that this is working, and it's just so quick, and it's just so like bang, 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 you know, action, action, action. And so for action-based and intellectual-based people, this is something that they usually prefer, although they still do completion process because they love it too. But the preference is Psyche. And for emotional people, I found that they just love completion process because they just love experiencing these all emotions and releasing them. Although in Psyche, you sometimes got to focus, if you're working on emotions with Psyche, you got to focus on emotion as well. But it's just in a little bit different way, because you also try to feel it as deeply as you can. But, you know, completion process really gets you back to this memory. And so you are releasing it all, and you're working with multiple emotions at once, as you gather these fragments of consciousness that were left there. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how, you know, different people with different preferences and potentials can have different preferences for healing as well.
Yes, that is so beautiful, and that's how my journey as well, that's how it molded and all led me to the 0 point healing, where all the modalities are displayed to everyone. It feels like I can keep hearing you as you keep talking. it's so nice to hear all of that, and I love the way how you express and how you put things into words in an easily understandable manner. So thank you so much, but we are ending the time here. So my dear viewers, we have Karolina's link in the box below. You can click on that and you can book a session with her. And as a special for watching this show, we have a 10% off discount coupon code for you. It is 0 point. So when you contact her, you can tell about the coupon code, which is 0 point, and you can get a 10% off on your first booking. Thank you so much, Karolina. That was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for letting us know and explaining the process in such detail that I hope all viewers really understood what the process is and how it can help them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, my dear viewers. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do share and subscribe. The more you share, and if you know especially people who have anxiety or depression or PTSD, as Karolina was sharing, telling us here, if you know of some people like that, maybe your friends and family, you can share this video with them so you can help them, and she can help them overcome those issues as well. So thank you for all your support. I'll meet you next time. Bye-bye.